Thank you again, Melanie, for joining me this morning. I'm so happy that we get to have a season three discussion, surprise, a season three discussion
Yes,
about having
thank
Penelope.
you. I'm excited to speak with you today.
It's we talked before, but was such an incredible, shocking surprise to see season three, episode one, Penelope in a whole other form, and a new version of our Penelope.
Yeah, she's not quite the same. She's back, but she's a little twisted.
Yes, I mean, did you get any different like background on her or breakdown, I would say, for season three about who this new Penelope might be or, her intentions of sorts?
Not really. I just came back and it was kind of described to me that she is not the same. She's a little confused. And some of her memories are coming back to her, but they're not quite in order. So she has little bits and pieces coming back to her. So that's where the rage comes in when she sees the girls. So it's like, you don't want to mess with Penelope.
Absolutely, and warranted because that's the whole perspective of things. Obviously, Penelope has one idea of what happened to her, and the unit has a whole other idea of what happened to her, and uh, uh, nobody has been able to discuss those things and kind of flesh them out in a way. So, a gut reaction and an instant reaction from Penelope is we can understand that perspective too.
Mhm.
We can understand, but it's interesting to see because our Penelope from season two was like so pure and like good-hearted and kind-natured and all that, and then like there's a switch that kind of has turned for her in season three.
Yes, but I still think that that pure and innocent and sweetness is still in her. This is not her. This rage is something else. So there's still that she's still down there somewhere. We just don't know if she's ever gonna, come back to her natural form yet.
Yes, we see obviously little slight nods to that part with the milk and the little like gentleness and sorts of stuff between her, and then um yeah, there's still obviously the witch plague portion that has kind of manipulated the other parts, and that's where like the anger and the rage also kind of seems to be um that little part of her seems to come from.
Yeah.
Well, how far then in advance were you aware that, Penelope would return for season three? Was it something like discussed maybe in season two potentially, or, was for sure that you knew this arc would be something sort of continued?
They told me that she might come back on the last episode of last season. So the day that I was being shot up into the sky and exploding was when they kind of said she might not really be dead, but we don't know yet. So I still had this glimmer of hope that she would come back, but everything could change, with TV shows and everything's rewritten. And um, but I'm really happy that she did come back. So,
Well, certainly the the fandom has expressed the same sentiments as well. You get to see the social side of things where the surprise really kind of took hold within the fandom as well, because it wasn't just Tally who, of course, latched on to our precious Penelope in season two. The fandom really embraced the character and really kind of, I don't know, it felt like she was sort of our little sister in a way too, in a sense.
yeah, I see all the little messages and the tags on Twitter and on Instagram, and it makes me so happy when I see those. It's I'm really glad that Penelope was well received because I love her myself. So it's like, oh, other people loved her as well.
In season two, I kind of referred to Penelope in her innocence and her voice, and in an Ariel-esque Ariel Disney character way, because she did have some qualities, and This season she might be a little bit more Ursula in a way with the witch plague.
Yes, true. She's not quite the same.
She she has her voice though still though. That's what is something that really is really great about like the core of her too, is that she still has her musical voice or musicality about her. And she uses that more playfully this season as well.
Yes, now she is using it in a little bit more of a violent way. Um, but that was something that I was really happy I could bring in was the singing aspect because I love to sing myself. So to play something that also has a voice and sings was really something that was special to me.
Well, we talked a little bit about obviously the fan reaction to to seeing you back, but was it something like you showed up to the first table read and everybody else was surprised to see Penelope and yourself return, or was this something more that the cast was a surprise, or
I think by the time that we did the table read, everyone already knew. Um, but still, it was a surprise to be brought back, anyways.
you see in season three, Penelope still likes to make an entrance, and you know, season two, we got to see her and introduced to her, you know, within the church setting. Season three, she came out like a little bit of like a weather girl in a way, you know, with her entrance. Um, and then we get this comment when Penelope kind of finally takes reform with Isadora. We get Isadora saying you're home, and the reaction from Penelope isn't exactly as welcoming in return. Um, so is Penelope then this season more led with emotion, violation, a mix? What is her sort of focus this season? Season 2 seemed like finding her voice, finding her purpose a little bit like, sort of like a Tally's little sister in a way, mentorship.
Well, this season she's confused. She's trying to bring back her memories. I think she knows that there's something wrong with her. And so she's trying to see what exactly is wrong and what are these flashes of memories that are coming into her head. And she's trying to make sense of it all. And Isadora comes in and she's kind of like a mother to Penelope. And I think it's really special that the first season she had Tally that was like a big sister, and now this season she has Isadora kind of like a mother to her, and she lost her mother when she was really young, so she never had um, that female figure in her life. So now she has that, and I think she's learning from Isadora and embracing that love that she never got. At the same time, she's confused and she wants to attack her. So she's all over the place.
Yes, I was gonna say we see this ginger like kindliness, and we haven't seen a lot of with regards to Isadora's character, some of that more mentorship or mothering in a way from her. She's obviously very quite, you know, scientific and structured, and has been studying the mycelium and stuff, and so it's been nice to see like a different kind of Isadora, and like you said, you know, Penelope doesn't lost her mother, and she has Tally, who's sort of like a sisterly figure, and she doesn't have such a fond fatherly figure as we've come to know as well. Um, so yes, I was gonna say in a sense, it's nice to see Isadora mothering her, and you know, teenagers have tantrums sometimes too. So
Yeah, I think it's a good experience for both of them.
yes, so it's nice to see something where Isadora can sort of, I guess, use her skills in a skill set in a way, but also um, adapt and find another sort of skill set, because we know that she was obviously very close to like Alder, and that dynamic that she, I guess, is, I don't know if she's like motherly in that way to her, but Um, it's definitely nice to see more of Isadora and the developing figure that we get from her. That it's sort of like science and family centric in a way as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see the different sides of Isadora. You kind of wonder, is she on the good side? Is she on the bad side? Um, she kind of has that thing about her where you don't really know. But right now she's playing this motherly figure, so it's really nice to see that side as well.
Yes. I know that there's obviously 2 episodes left, so
Mhm.
there we never know what the focus will be, but, with the teases for 309, I hope that our friend Isadora, our friendly, weird science enthusiast Isadora, uh, nothing bad happens to her, so we'll see.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
but we will
Um,
see.
yeah. Well, you talked about Penelope and her development of her memories and trying to get her memories back. And Tally made a comment in season that memories are important. And Penelope is kind of currently fueled by mostly turbulent memories, as we talked about with Abigail. Um, and then obviously people keep saying like we want her to exonerate the unit, but is her memory, at least at this point, more of an asset or a detriment to her recovery, with these types of reactions, at least we've gotten to see.
At this point, I think her memories are of no help, honestly. She doesn't seem like she's in a stable place to be seen in the public and to kind of give any kind of statement. Right now, she's quite violent, so that's where we are right now. I think her memories are bringing her violence out, so I don't know if that will be a good asset for anyone at this point.
uh, I wish that we had a chance to explore that more and sort of see like the way that Isadora works directly with Penelope and developing that like nature and sort of trying to bring back the pure side of her, or the less violent side of her.
Mhm.
um, but it was a miracle that she was able to reconstitute to do Penelope in itself. So
Yes, but I'm sure she has a purpose you know, for this whole like a greater purpose in all of this. So we will see what that comes to be in future episodes.
yes, I mean, I was gonna say, music has really played an integral part for Penelope in season two, especially, and now obviously season three. It's kind of got like a calming effect in a way upon her when we see like the Victrola with the music playing. And they say that music is therapy, and I wanted to ask a little bit about what music means to her, Penelope, and what kind of catharsis she might find in it, and then for yourself as well.
Yeah, I remember speaking to Elliot in the second season when I first got Penelope, and music is kind of something her and her mother used to do. I think particularly that song that she sang at the church was something that her mom would sing to her, and it's like kind of their song that they would sing together at church. So this is something that she would do after her mother passed away to remember her. She'd sing in her bedroom. It would bring comfort and love and remind her of the days when her mother was alive. And so that's what music is for Penelope. So it's such a joyful thing, and that's where she finds her true powers and her true self as being a witch. Um, and for me as well, I've always loved singing, and it was something that I found comfort in. And um, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have.
It's it's sort of a great escape or a way to it can change your mood, or it can enhance your mood, or it can certainly find a way to relieve some inner angst, depending on what kind of music you want to put on. So it can have whatever effect on your mood, on your emotion, um, and it's just a way to kind of s- to find yourself in a sense as well. Because if you can hear yourself in a song, you can connect to that emotion, you can connect to those feelings, and then maybe it changes something for you in your life, or it changes at least the way that you're feeling for now.
Yeah, and it brings people together as well. Something you can share
Absolutely.
with other people.
Absolutely. I mean, the show talks about hope, and we're looking for the first song, and that's supposed to heal the world, and sort of things are still mixed in our reality as well.
Mhm.
So, music has really been a key to unite a lot of things and heal, like you talk about as well.
Yeah.
You talked about seeing some of the fan reactions and the edits and the artwork and things. Have you seen any like fan theories at all about what with Penelope in any way?
Yeah, I see a whole bunch of stuff and I read them all. They're very creative, some of them. The other
There's a
day I
lot of
saw that
liberties.
Penelope was bald and she was a clown. I was just like, okay,
Oh,
I think I'm scrolling a little too far there.
that's the deeper different side of the phantom. Not the don't go down that one again.
But yeah, I it's really it's such a community. I didn't even know that it existed until after coming onto the show. Such a tight knit community, so much love and so much passion for the show. It's incredible.
I came up with my own recently, but I don't know how accurate it will be, at least in what we.
Oh, you have a theory?
Oh,
Okay.
I had one theory. It's not really fleshed out a whole bunch, but it has to do with, okay, so Rael is like a fixer in life, and Scylla is a necro in death, and they have the they have the death cap seed, excuse me. And obviously, Penelope is someone who sort of embodies life and death at the same time. And
Mhm.
they have all these pieces for the first song, but like, who's going to sing the first song, and what does that do to bridge how does they bridge things? So my theory, in a sense, is sort of like, I don't know, like using Scylla and Rael with the first song or something like that, and Penelope like is the vessel in a way to sing it, because
All
super
right.
out there, super like, I don't know. I don't expect you to like say anything wrong or right or anything like that. But that was sort of like where I pieced a little bit of something together, because Alder has all these first song stewards and stuff like that. And like I said, Rael is life and Scylla means death, and they have the whole death cap song stuff. And I'm like, okay, Penelope has music to her too, and she sort of embodies life and death at the same time, simultaneously. So if they need someone to sing it, or they need someone to do something with this song, maybe Penelope is involved in some way.
Maybe we will have to find out.
We will come back to my theory again. Yes. That's sort of where I thought about, like, I was in a very like not sleep I was like had not slept for a while, and I was like, let's think about this. I
I
don't
mean,
usually do fan theories, but that came to me in some deep sleep deprived way.
and those are always the best ideas.
That's true. There's always some, like, truth or some, like, root to those when you're, like, not really thinking about it, or you're trying to occupy your mind with something else in a way.
Well, it is a good theory, but we will have to wait and see.
Yes, you can check your, GM box and see what happens after. If I'm in there going, "Look at Melody."
I can't say
No,
anything
no,
yet.
no, no. Well, last season we talked about as well this relationship and sisterly bond between Penelope and Tally that developed, and obviously with the actions that happened in season two, that bond kind of like severed between the two? Is there any forgiveness, or is this a forever fracture? Because we've seen Penelope with Abigail, but everyone else, and we've seen Isadora and Petra, but not so much anyone else from the unit. And obviously, Tally is the person who Penelope trusted and cared for the most.
Yeah. Um, I think that once if if Penelope ever finds out what truly happened to her, I think she would understand and she would forgive Tally. She was like her big sister, her best friend for a little bit, and the first person that she actually trusted with this newfound power that she had that she never really understood or knew about before. She was the first person who accepted her the way she really is. So I think she would forgive her if she found out the truth. But right now she thinks, you guys killed me. Um, no.
This friendship is over.
Over. Yeah.
It's interesting too, though. I mean, they do say that blood is thicker than water, and the family dynamic again between the Silvers. It doesn't seem any love or blood loss in a way either. We got the scene this season between Silver and Sterling, and he talks about the bike and teaching Penelope how to ride a bike, and the the president inductee. I don't like to call him president, but the resident inductee didn't seem. I mean, he had a small sense of like seemingly like s- nostalgia or so, like maybe something, but didn't seem to phase him too long either. So it seems like when it comes to family, it's really nice to see also the theme that like family isn't just the people you're born with, and a theme through the show. Family isn't necessarily like we say blood, and blood being thicker than water and all that.
Yeah, and it also goes to show that sometimes your own family can turn on you when they find out something about you or they don't accept you for who you really are. And Penelope's going through this whole kind of new identity or this identity that she identifies with and her father doesn't accept her. But she's able to find other people who do accept her and those are her family now.
Yes, the Motherland is such an inclusive series, and the themes this season that really seem to emerge are once again, like the family are the bonds and the people that you want or bring into your life or you choose, and a lot of hope as well. So, in that sense, I think that Penelope is rich and has a wonderful support system that way, um, and that's really important to kind of echo those themes this season because again, a lot of what we see through the lens of Motherland and the perspective of things from Motherland kind of mirrors our political landscapes a lot of times as well. So to have these important messages and ways to kind of see ourselves and be reminded that the past isn't as far from the present as we may think it is, and um, to once again, have the reinforcement that, of acceptance, of inclusivity, of representation as well, the importance of that as well, and what and why that matters to us to be seen on screen and to have addressed.
Yes. Yes. I agree with everything you said.
From the beginning breakdown that you had originally from Penelope, and then now to where we end up, wherever she may be in the finale. What really has stood out to you about her evolution, and kind of the vision of the world through her eyes in a way?
um Well, when we first find her in the second season, she was kind of this sheltered girl with a very kind of like box view of life, kind of shaped by her father. And now, and then she was introduced to this whole other world. She finds out who she really is. And there's more to life than just this box that she was living in. And now her evolution, well, I mean, things happen in life. They don't go as perfectly. Shit happens and shit happened to Penelope. And so now she's trying to navigate this new, I don't know where I'm going with it.
It's okay. No, she has to she has to develop and navigate a new sense of herself. You know, she you it's sort of like when you grow up again. I mean, you have this like innocence and vulnerability about you as a child, and
Mhm.
then things happen in the world. Like you said, shit happens. The world happens. You grow up. You become a teenager again, and you find out things about your family you don't you don't maybe you don't like or are not necessarily the nicest things or whatever life kind of hands at you and you start to become you learn about the world. I wouldn't say you become like jaded, so not everybody has that perspective, but as a teenager obviously, and then you become a more of an adult, you deal with more adult things, and certainly that's sort of reflected as well through Penelope too in that concept.
Yeah, and I'm sure her father was her whole world to her when she was younger. And sometimes you grow up and you realize that your parents aren't perfect and they're humans and sometimes they're not great. I mean, some are and some aren't. And so she finds that I think she discovers that about her father and it's kind of like, how? Well, things aren't exactly how they seem like. But there's always going to be people out there that will accept you for who you are. There's going to be people that will love you. So you just have to find those people.
Amen.
Amen.
This is our Sunday sermon. Well, we've gotten to see again the glimpses of the more angrier side of Penelope, and I wanted to ask a little bit about also, what was it like to get to film, and we got to see a lot of walking and a little bit of Penelope's power in season 2, but here season 3, again the anger kind of fuels her and emotion, and wanted to talk a little bit about obviously the scene that we get to see between her and Isadora and choking and then of course the manic scene we get of her and Abigail together, and how that was for you to get to film these two different kinds of sides.
Oh yeah, it was really fun to attack people.
No.
I've always wanted to. But no, it was really fun. You definitely have to get into it. I got into that channeling my inner anger and and attacked these wonderful women. It was kind of sad, but they understood, and I was having a little bit too much fun with it, honestly. I think I was enjoying it a little bit too much. But yeah,
It's
in the first season, when they put me up in the harness, when they kill me and I go up, I'm extremely afraid of heights. And they had a day where we were practicing that whole scene with the stunts, and I didn't know that they were actually going to shoot me all the way up. I thought they were only going to go like a foot above, and then they would edit it to look like I was going all the way up. But
mhm.
they shot me up all the way. So I faced some of my biggest fears, and that just knocked the fear of heights right out of me. So I got to attack people. I got to face my biggest fears of heights. We did really good.
That's a plus.
Yes.
But you also this season too, you got to work with a little bit of more of the other extended cast as well. Obviously, we keep talking about Isadora because that's the main relationship that we see.
Mhm.
with you and Emily, of course, who's very, very lovely, very, very lovely, sweet person, and then
Yeah.
a little bit with Catherine Low-Hagquist as well, and I wanted to ask a little bit about, like, kind of how that also was, a nice way for you to kind of round out as well, not just obviously working with the wonderful people who play the women who portray, pardon me, the unit, but also getting to work with some of these, incredibly talented, extended cast as well.
Yeah. I mean, working with, Emily was so much fun. She's the sweetest person ever and so talented. We had some nice talks while we were there waiting for our scenes to go. I really enjoyed working with her this season. And as well with Catherine, I think we had maybe 2 days where we worked together, so it wasn't a lot, but I got to learn some of the other castmates, and it was really nice to work with different people.
Well, we are coming towards 2 episodes left. This Tuesday in a couple days, we have
Mhm.
309 and then we have 3010. What what does the emotion feel like for you? Because this is obviously now like 2 years of your time together working on such a special series that means so much, not just obviously to the fandom, but of course to the people who make the series as well. And what does it mean to you to kind of have this kind of culmination? Because this has been sort of bittersweet to a lot of people in a sense as well.
Yeah, it's been really bittersweet, but I'm really glad that I got to come back, and I came back for 2 seasons. I'm really happy for them that they were able to finish their show. You know, with things like this, sometimes it'll just end and you never get a true ending, so they all had their ending for the show, and Elliot did a beautiful job in creating the story. So, I think it'll be satisfying for everyone, for the viewers, for the fans of the show, that they will get the ending that everyone deserves, and it was just a really nice experience to be a part of.
What was your final day of filming like? I mean, I know people don't film in order necessarily, but for you,
My final day, I think my final day was the final scene that Penelope is in. So that is an interesting scene that we will see in the last episode. So
okay.
yes. So it was a very sad little goodbye, but I mean you never know.
That's right. Penelope has come back once already. I mean, the show could come back. She could come back again too for a fourth season. Again, we talk about hope, so there's a lot of that.
Yes, I see all the petitions online. The fans are really going for it. Um, but I mean, you never know. Things could change. Someone else could pick up the show, so you don't know.
Very true. Are there any other projects that you have coming up? I know you recently shared YouTube of yourself singing. Is there any other, either musically you have going on, or any other projects we'll get to see you in shortly that you can share?
Yes, there will be other projects coming soon. I cannot talk about things, but once I'm able to speak about it, then I will be sharing with everyone. Um, but yeah, just always keeping busy, singing always. Um, it's summer here, and Vancouver right now is really hot. So just enjoying the sun. Yeah.
Is there anything then that maybe we didn't talk about or touch on that you want to either say to fans for their support, or say about the show that again that we didn't really touch on?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for all the people supporting the show, even supporting me personally. I see all the messages where it's like, wow, they actually care not just for the show, but for the people on the show, like the actors, the writers, the producers, like everyone. They care about all the individuals a part of this family. So I want to thank everyone for that, and it's all well received, and we are really grateful and thankful for that.